Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the What Would Reddit Do podcast, where we read some Reddit stories and discuss what Reddit would do. I am your host, Bronte, and as always, I am joined by co host Sophia
Hello.
and Lexi.
Hello.
And let's throw to Lexi for today's sponsored segment.
Hello. Well, because I was sick the last literally 2 fucking weeks, I want to say that this podcast is sponsored by not being able to breathe through your goddamn nose and taking breathing for granted when it's not blocked.
I agree. And then you breathe through your mouth and then your throat hurts.
You know what? You know when you're sick, right? And obviously, like, your nose is blocked. You know, like, that burning feeling when you try to breathe in? I hate that. Because I am no dragon, but that shit hurts.
Yeah, but it's horrible because, especially when you're asleep, sometimes you startle yourself awake because you stopped breathing. Because you're trying to breathe through your nose. Or you've just been breathing
Yes.
through your mouth and your throat's dry and it's even worse. This first story is coming from True Off My Chest. It was posted 58 days ago. Title is Conversation with My Mum Brought Up an Uncomfortable Truth About My Childhood. I learned something recently that has been messing with my head more than I expected. When I was in middle school, my parents went through a really bad period. I remember a lot of fighting in the house, and eventually they started going to marriage counseling. At one point, they even brought my siblings and me in to speak with the counselor so we could talk about how things felt at home. As a kid, I didn't really understand what was happening. I just knew things were tense all the time. Recently, I was talking to my mum about a relationship issue I'd been dealing with. I asked her how she and dad handled conflict in their marriage and how we're supposed to communicate when you're feeling a lot of things all at once. I was basically looking for advice on whether I should say what I'm feeling to my partner or hold it in until I sort it out, because I know they had gone to counseling and we are debating it too. The conversation turned into something I never expected. My mum told me that during that time, my dad had actually accused her of cheating on him and questioned whether I was really his son. Apparently, part of the reason was that I didn't resemble him much physically, and also because I developed earlier than expected in certain ways. She said it became a real source of tension between them and even came up during their counseling. As awkward as this is to say, one of the things he apparently fixated on was that I was unusually endowed, even when I was a kid. Writing that makes me sorry.
Endowed.
Writing that makes me cringe because I'm not trying to brag or make this weird, but it's just the reality of what she told me. Looking back, I do remember some strange comments my dad when I was younger that made me feel really self-conscious, even though I didn't fully understand why at the time. There was even a moment when I was around 9 or 10 where my parents had to buy me an athletic cup for sports because I specifically remember we had to switch from a soft cup to a hard cup. To save money, my parents bought me the one meant for teens. It didn't fit, and I needed an adult size, which I remember turning into this awkward situation. At the time, I didn't think much of it other than feeling embarrassed. Now I'm wondering if moments like that fed into whatever suspicion he already had about me. What's really messing with me is the realization that something about my body as a kid apparently became part of the conflict between my parents. Logically, I know this isn't my fault. I was a kid and had zero control over any of that, but emotionally, it still feels strange to learn that my dad may have looked at me with suspicion or resentment because of it. It's also weird realizing that some of the tension and maybe even disdain I felt from him growing up might have been tied to that. I know he still loved me, but it's also like he judged me. Ironically, the relationship issue I originally talked to my mum about had become the least of my worries. But now I'm left processing this completely different thing about my childhood that I never understood before. I guess I'm posting here because I don't really know what to do with this information. Has anyone else ever learned something years later that completely reframed how they saw their childhood or their relationship with a parent? Edit, I just want to thank everyone so far for actually acknowledging this and not trolling me.
But how, as a father, can you think about that? Like, in your son? Like, that's weird to begin with.
Right? The dad is like deeply
Yeah. In a weird way that he's even comparing it to his son.
yeah, but like 9 or 10 as well. Like he
Yeah.
said when there was an incident when he was 9 and 10 years old. I don't know. It isn't. It's also odd to jump to that conclusion to be like, my son
Real quick,
as
yeah.
a child is well endowed more than I am, so that means that he mustn't be my son. There's no logic there. I
Everyone's
don't.
different. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I really don't understand it. Top comment. Imagine questioning paternity because your son has a big dick. It's not your fault. These are his own insecurities and burdens to deal with. OP responded to that and said, yes, but as a kid, you don't understand things like genetics. Things he said to me back then just kind of flew over my head, but now are hitting me like a ton of bricks. Someone replied and said, is he still around? Can you talk to him about it? And OP said, he is, and he's been a lot better after therapy. I don't really know if that's a conversation that I would want to have. Another one of the comments said, I'd probably feel sorry for him that he was so insecure about his dick that he almost lost his marriage and resented his child over it. It's pretty sad. OP responded and said, that makes me feel like it's kind of my fault that he's insecure. Like, I know it's not my fault, but he's basing it off my stuff. Makes me think I could have just not complained about the cup as a kid. Who cares if it's a little too tight? That's sad. It also it's for sports. You literally cannot wear.
One that's too
You
small.
can't wear anything on your body that's too small if you're trying to play a sport. Like, you can literally compare it to anything. You can compare it to shorts. You can compare it to a t-shirt. You like, your body's constricted. It's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, like how uncomfortable. And then, God, if a ball does hit you there, if it's too small, it would hurt even more.
But also, like, think about it. A hard cut, if it's sitting in the wrong position, and say he plays soccer, it's sitting in the wrong position, and he like the ball hits him right in the cup. Could that not, like, it's plastic? It could hit him in the wrong angle. It could cut into him. Like, it could cause a pretty intense injury other than just a lot of pain. We have an update.
Okay, tell me.
So the update was posted 54 days ago, which is only 4 days after the original post. And the title is Update. I talked to my dad about him questioning if I was his son. Hello, everybody. I wanted to post an update to something I wrote here a few days ago. This is a little not safe for work, so fair warning. The short version of the original post was that my mum told me that when I was younger, my dad sometimes questioned whether I was really his son, and them going to couples counseling due partly to that. Apparently, part of that came from physical differences between us, including penis size, and it caused issues in their marriage. A lot of people told me I should talk to my dad about it and consider therapy. Well, the last few days have been the worst I've had in a long time. My mind has been flooded with memories of things my dad said when I was a kid, and I kept wondering if comments he made back then had hidden meanings. On top of that, I ended up losing my job, so everything kind of piled up at once. I ended up seeing my parents this weekend about being fired and bringing it up to my dad. He explained that it was an issue back then, but not exactly the way I thought. Around the time I was born, he worked primarily as a wedding photographer, so he was gone a lot of weekends and long hours. Because of that, he sometimes had suspicions that my mum might have been cheating. He said when I was growing up, he noticed some physical differences between us, and his mind went there sometimes. The penis size thing apparently came up in that context. But he said it wasn't so much that he truly believed I wasn't his son, it was more that he had insecurity and mistrust towards my mum at the time. He also mentioned there was an incident where the car broke down at a strip club around the time and my mum had to pick him up, which created a lot of tension between them.
Broke down near the strip club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Air quotation marks.
According to him, some of these thoughts he had back then were more about fear, guilt, and blaming each other during a rough period in their marriage. Also stated that he felt the only explanation for us being so different down there was us not being related, or that there was something hormonally wrong with me. So now I honestly just don't know how to feel.
Oh, God,
That's
that's
so
crazy.
sad.
I can't believe putting your insecurities onto your kids. Like in the time, yes, they don't, but then yeah, it gets revisited when you're older, when you understand a lot of things, and you go, "Oh shit," and then you question everything because why wouldn't you? That's your father.
Can I say, I feel like the dad either cheated or like thought about or wanted to cheat, and that's
Yeah.
why he was projecting onto
Onto
the
Yeah.
wife and
partner.
onto the son.
Usually
always
that's what happens. Yeah.
They accuse the other one. Like, they're so paranoid about what if the other one's cheated.
So, top comment for that was, what a well put together response. Kudos to dad. It sounds like counseling really did wonders. And OP responded and said, honestly, he's a lot better now versus when I was growing up. Still doesn't change how I feel though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Someone else responded to him and said, that's okay, you're a child and shouldn't have to be spoken to like that. Hopefully, he has apologized to you, but you have a lot to unpack and process here, if not already. Get into therapy. And OP responded and said, I'm looking into it, even been asking on here what to look for. But at this point, booking them and even just getting a call back is so much work. And now I'm going to be losing my insurance. I wonder what happened at his job as well, because he
I
did
know,
lose
right?
his job.
Was it him falling off the wagon or was it the job?
See, but it's a 4-day turnaround. That's a lot to be struggling for something for what, a day or two at work and then they fire you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gotta be something else.
Someone else commented and said, note to self, don't park close to a strip club.
Even if you break down, just ask someone to push it another block.
Yeah. Someone said a DNA test result will answer all questions and confusions.
Oh, that's true. If you did want to go that route.
But then someone responded and said, or it will make it more complicated emotionally.
But wouldn't you rather know?
Yeah, but I think he sort of admitted that he didn't actually
He didn't
think that.
actually think, yeah.
Also, like, penis size is like the furthest thing you think when you look at your child and determine if they look like
Yeah.
you or have the same genetic traits
It's
as you.
so weird.
Someone responded and said, as a dad, I have to say, I don't think much of your father. I went back and read one of your earlier posts, and all I take away from that is that your dad is incredibly insecure and projecting that insecurity into total infidelity from your mum. Regardless, he never should have pushed that insecurity on you, made you feel bad or self conscious about your body, or really have discussed this with you. I'm sorry you're not in a great place. I'm sorry you lost your job. Unfortunately, there's a lot of that going on around here and probably more to come. I wish you well. OP responded and said, thank you. I still don't want to think poorly of my father. Just don't think he realizes how much some of the stuff he said hurts. Like, I didn't give much thought into it as a child, but I didn't really understand. But now, as an adult, I feel very uncomfortable about a lot of it.
Yeah, of course.
On to the next one. Next story comes from Am I the Asshole? Posted 54 days ago. Title is, Am I the asshole for sending this text after my friend returned clothing she took from my apartment?
It's so vague, but probably no.
Yeah. My best friend of 10 years, we'll call her Lucy, has been cat sitting for my husband and me for around a year and a half. Oh, like
year
not
and a half?
consistently. No, not
Oh,
consistently a
okay.
year and a half. For the
No.
past year and a half, she is occasionally
Jesus, not even
cat
your
sat for
cat
us.
at that point.
Oh my god, yeah. We pay her and let her and her partner stay in our apartment. Most recently, she stayed for 2 weeks. There we go. Additional context, while she was there, I left her 3 bags of clothes to keep, which we talked about beforehand. These bags had the same type of clothing she later returned, tops, pants, pajamas, etc. So she had plenty she was welcome to take. 2 weeks after getting back from vacation, when Lucy and I were hanging out, she mentioned she had borrowed my aloe sweatpants while staying over and needed to return them. I didn't know she had taken them, and she wouldn't have known this, but they were a gift I'd only worn once. A few days later, I asked to get the sweatpants back and a pair of Lululemon leggings I know she had from a few months earlier. When I got the clothes back, another 2 weeks later, she brought out a huge bag of clothes, far more than I knew she had. Some things were missing since last summer. Some were new and never worn or washed. Some were sentimental and vintage. They were clearly from multiple drawers and cabinets in my bedroom and closet, not things I willingly lent her.
That's weird. That's ick.
That is weird.
Since I also had left the 3 donate bags, I worried everything had gotten mixed together and it would be a guessing game to figure out what was mine. She apologized and told me to let her know if I could think of anything else I'm missing. Over the next few weeks, I asked about some specific items, including pants that went missing around the first time she cat sat. She had those too. She said next time I'm over, I can look through her closet to see if she missed anything. At this point, I've been trying to get my stuff back for around 6 weeks. This was the message I sent. I need to be honest about how serious this feels to me. It doesn't sit right that I would have to come search through your closet to figure out what of mine you took. Over the past year and a half, you went through multiple drawers and cabinets in my home and took so many items without ever asking or telling me. Some of these were things I had never worn or washed. Some were gifts. Some were sentimental or vintage and irreplaceable. I've also spent time thinking I lost certain items at yoga or in or in my building's laundry, never once imagining that my friend, someone I trusted in my home, had taken them from me. I need the rest of my belongings returned. If you're unsure if something is mine, send me a picture and I can let you know. I just need space to process everything because I didn't expect this while you were staying here, and I am at a complete loss because I never thought you would be somebody to violate my privacy in such a big way.
Yeah.
She apologized and has since returned more items. The total is around 25 pieces of clothing. So
Ooh.
am I the arsehole for sending that message? I'm worried that I should have worded it more nicely and that my directness could have been an asshole in the situation.
No, not an asshole.
No, she's valid for that.
Yep.
It's not like it's your family member or your sister or anything. It's a friend, which is completely different.
But even if it is a family member or a sister, like, you used to take a lot of Lexi's clothes, but you didn't take it and wear it and then put it in your own closet and then continue
Yeah,
to wear
no.
it and keep it for months. And then when Lexi asked if you had anything of hers, you would just be like, oh, I don't know what's yours. Come and have a look.
Yeah.
Like, you would take it,
That
you'd wear
is
it once,
true.
in
It's
the
like
laundry,
she went
back in her
free
closet.
shopping in a cupboard.
Yeah.
She did. She went through her friend's house and took whatever she wanted. Also, I know that we don't have aloe in Australia, but aloe sweatpants, I believe they're
It's
like
expensive.
incredibly expensive.
They can be up to like $200, $250.
Yeah, and is that USD? So it's even more for us.
Well, I've had a look on their website before. In Australian dollars, a fucking sports bra can be over $150. Like, that shit is not cheap.
And taking stuff that she hasn't worn, I guarantee they still have tags on it. If I buy something new,
Yeah.
even if I hang it up, I just leave the tags on until I wear it because I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Nah, I'd take tags off and wash everything.
But also, I think, like, her saying, oh, I don't know what's yours, you can come and have a look. No, you know. I
You
know
know.
where
Yeah.
every item of
You
my
know what
closet has
you
come
took.
from.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
where I got things from you guys or from mum. I know what stores I bought everything from. I know exactly where everything is from. You know what isn't yours.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
isn't yours. You just don't. There's
100%.
some shit you're gonna keep, and you just don't want
Yes.
to tell them that you've got it. Because if she went this long without realizing that you had it, how would she know what you've got?
Yeah. Thief.
That's
Thief.
crazy. Yeah, literally.
That is 100%
she is.
thief.
She's literally stole from her friend. That's crazy. Oh my god, if she was paying her to cat sit, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be paying her.
No.
You took my shit.
Yeah. You took thousands of dollars worth
Yeah,
of clothing.
It
Some
would
of
have
it's
been.
sentimental
And
and
stuff
irreplaceable.
exactly like priceless.
So overall verdict was, of course, not the asshole. The top comment is, not the asshole, your quote friend stole from you and is making it your responsibility to tell her what she stole.
Yeah.
Someone replied and said, not the asshole, the person is not your friend and is taking advantage of you. I would find another cat sitter.
Yeah, definitely.
She's stolen so much stuff from so many people she can't remember what she took from each person. Another top comment was, not the asshole, she took advantage of your trust and friendship. She stole from you while being paid to do a job in your home. You have the right to request your things back. Be safe and change the locks and don't leave her alone in your home again.
Be safe, change the locks.
You've handled it with politeness and class. You didn't use bad or aggressive language, make any threats or false accusations. I assume you didn't try to ruin her socially or professionally either. So OP responded to that and said, no, I did not. If anything, I ended up with the brunt of it because I'm now the one out of the best friend trio from my messages who's being mean.
They're just angry that they got caught.
Anyway, some of those people
No. You know what? The other friend might have been in with it too.
Yeah.
Maybe she also got clothes.
Probably. They're probably switching stuff. And then she's like, oh, she's coming over this weekend to try and get her stuff back. So can you hold on to this for me while she's here? Because I don't want her to see this and take this back.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go into another Am I the Asshole story. So this one is posted on Am I the Asshole? It was posted 58 days ago, and the title is Am I the Asshole for ignoring our friend on our trip to Mexico?
Bro, friend trips always turn crazy.
Last year, around this time, my friends and I planned a trip to a Cancun resort and spa. We all wanted to drink, eat, dance, and relax on the beach with no kids. She emphasized, no kids. I'm the only one without kids. So I was really looking forward to spending time with just my friends to unwind. Every other trip before this was planned with the kids, but this time there would be no early bedtimes, no crying, no screaming, no sand in our drinks because the kids think it's funny to throw sand, etc. 1 week before the trip, one of the girls said she's bringing her 10-year-old. This woman can never tell her kid no. We had all warned her beforehand that if it happens, we aren't going to change anything. To say I was annoyed was an understatement, but I sucked it up. I still had 2 friends who were going child free and had no intention of changing any plans. My 2 other friends and I drank, we ate amazing food, we danced all night, and spent all day at the beach. The friend with the kid expressed her frustration about the rest of us doing what we wanted, and she couldn't. My response was pretty much, well, that sucks, but we're not going to change the entire point of this trip just because your inability to tell your kid no. We invited her to do what we were doing multiple times, but her response was always, I can't, my kid wants to go, blah, blah, blah. So there was definitely tension between the 3 of us and her the entire trip. When we were making our long way back home, all 3 of us got a really nasty message from her fiance, calling us bad friends, and how dare we not revolve our entire trip around her and her kid, that she had a terrible time and it was our fault.
Ugh.
I was like, pardon? 4 question marks. This was pretty much the last straw for me. Now, I never tell my friends how to parent their children, but their daughter is so nasty. She's so spoiled, and like I've stated earlier, she's never been told no. So you can understand how entitled the child is. My other friends are a lot more reasonable when it comes to their children. Their children are polite, have a general understanding about boundaries, and they behave really well for 8 to 10-year-olds. My text back to him was pretty much, we made these plans a year in advance, expecting us to be fine with the fact that you guys dropped it on us, that your child was coming a week before we were leaving, and then expecting us to change everything and cancel all our plans because you guys can't tell your kid no. It's not fair to us at all. This is a you problem, not ours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I understand if something came up and she had no choice but to bring her kid. Shit happens, people cancel, but that was not the case. Her fiance was home the entire time. Her grandmother was looking forward to watching her granddaughter, but the kid freaked out about not being allowed to go on the trip and they couldn't tell her no. Now her and her
Oh.
fiance are super pissed. Well, we are in the wrong.
No,
No.
fucking way. No way.
No.
Okay. I understand wanting to give everything you can possibly to your child, okay? That's natural, whatever. But in saying that, you cannot just bring your child on a girls' trip to, mind you, a Cancun, which is basically party fucking central, considering that they were going to drink, right? And then, well, it also just seems like this friend is like only thinks about herself.
Yes.
And the 10-year-old.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're doing a disservice to your child if you say yes to everything and you don't teach them that they don't always get what they want.
Get everything. That not everything is fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What happens when they get to the real world and they don't get everything they want straight away? And
Yeah.
people don't want to be their friends straight away. People don't want to hang out with them all the time. People don't want to do what they want to do all the time.
But you know what's crazy to me, right? Even in saying that, like when me and Lexi and you went to Hamilton Island, right? Her husband was obviously home and looked after the baby. Like even if they didn't have like the grandmother or whatever, it is so selfish to not even, like, I also bet you that husband didn't want to look after that kid either.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like, was that the main thing?
Right. Like, it's so selfish as well because mums, sorry to say this, it would never be 50-50 with parents. Mums will always take the brunt of the work, but mums always need a break from mothering. Like, I'm sorry, because they always do the bulk of the work.
I will say, I understand that that is what we see in most cases. However, there are some cases where, like, it'll be a single dad or something like that. But to your point, I think that automatically, like, mums need to be taken extra care of because they're the one who physically grow
Yes.
and give birth to the child.
Yes.
Like, they've started being a parent 9 months before the father has to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even though you, like, Lexi, right, she had a pretty easy pregnancy compared to what can happen during pregnancy, right? Even that, she still needs a break from that. Even though she didn't have vomiting or whatever, you're mentally and physically tired. You're carrying a fucking
Your
an
body's
extra
not
like
yours.
10 kilos or whatever if you put on weight or whatever. Like, your whole body is working 10 times faster than what it used to be. Like, that on its own is mentally draining. And no offense, men will never understand that. Men will never understand the pregnancy, even if it's easy, whatever. It still takes a toll on your mental health.
What are your thoughts? Lexi is the only one here with a kid.
Yeah, I'm like, so was she sitting in that group chat for a year, agreeing to all the things that they were going to do, where they were like, whatever, whatever? Because I'm sorry, you don't just in a week buy a plane ticket for your 10-year-old daughter on the same flight as she's sitting next to you.
I didn't think about that, an international plane ticket as well. And then the daughter's 10. Obviously, we don't know if this is the case, but, because they're so young, there's a potential she hasn't even been overseas before, so she might
Yeah.
also need to get a passport, which takes
Passport.
months.
Yeah, which takes time.
100%
This
it was
is why I
planned.
don't understand. There's no way it was like a split decision. Oh, she got upset, so we had to bring her. Like, no, you were gonna bring her the whole fucking time, and then you lied to your friends.
They were probably just hoping that one of the other mums said something about bringing a child, and then they had to be the bad guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The verdict is, of course, not the asshole. Top comment is, not the asshole, so the whole family is entitled. How charming. Your message was honestly very tame. I would have dragged the whole family if I was responding. Also, I would very much distance myself from that friend as much as possible, but that's me, and I'm quick to cut people out of my life when they're disrespectful. Not only does your friend not respect you and the rest of your friend group, but she doesn't respect herself or her child. The child will be very spoiled, entitled, and isolated as they grow up.
Yep.
Someone responded to that and said, the audacity to drop a kid on a child-free trip last minute and then get mad when you didn't rearrange everything around them. Wild.
Yeah, that's fucked.
That's crazy.
And sorry, the 10-year-old knows what a 10-year-old wants to do in Cancun in a week.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Oh, my child wanted to do this, do that. Like, sorry.
Also, surely the 10-year-old wants to go to the beach all day like the adults.
And shopping. What else are girls gonna do? Except cocktails. You have cocktails, but you can have cocktails on the beach, I'm sure.
You know what's actually really crazy, right? The kids these days, they are so spoiled, okay? I'm thinking back on my childhood. I will say I was a pretty spoiled kid, but never once, like, even as my adulthood, I do not expect everything handed to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect, if my mum or dad or whatever, my whole family want to go to an overseas trip, I do not expect them to invite me. I don't expect anyone to, like, cater to me. Even if I was, like, 15 or whatever, I would not expect that, even back then.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand, like, this day and age right now, like, the way that they are basically raising their kids to be the way that they are is crazy to me. Like, they, like, even though they're spoiled, they, like, parents these days will literally go broke just try to
Get their kids what they want.
yeah, but that's not the real world, because that's sorry, but, like, that is not the case. Like, wait until they get a fucking job. They expect everyone to be on their hands and feet for them.
Someone else responded to some of those top comments and said, I get struggles with parenting, so I have empathy, but as a parent myself, if someone dropped a kid into a child-free vacation, planned a year in advance without it being an actual emergency type of situation, I might actually lose it. Adults, especially parents, need child-free time to recenter and relax. However, I will say I used to be like this with my kid. As a single parent, I was used to having my kid with me all the time. I had a very good friend sit down and firmly but kindly tell me that it wasn't good for my mental health or my daughters for me to never spend time with other adults without my kid. Through therapy, I learned it was more about my own anxiety and I was creating codependency in both of us. I'm thankful for that friend every day, and I feel the friendship is worth salvaging. Maybe sit down with her and go over your thoughts about what happened.
See, I always understand if it's an emergency, you need to bring your kid, okay. But this is completely different. She knew what she was doing. She knew that she was always going to bring that kid. She knew. She probably went and told that fucking kid straight away. Do you want to go Cancun?
1,000%. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of What Would Reddit Do? Let us know what you think Reddit should have done in all of the comments down below, and we hope to see you back here again for another episode with us next week.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.